Ladies and gentlemen, this morning you join me at a new venue. So I'm at a place called Martin Wells Lake. It's at Doncaster in a little village called Edlington. And I was fortunate enough for a good friend of mine, Robson, to invite me up here last week for a session where we just caught loads of skimmers and bream. It was awesome. One thing I did notice when I was here though, it's absolutely stuffed with fish. There's loads. I mean, Robson comes up besides and does like mega, catches loads of fish. So I've come here today, but I'm not bringing my regular up-to-date modern match gear. I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to use some vintage gear, so wicker basket stuff, really old style rod. I've got a spin fisher reel, I don't know what that means. I'm just going to use a simple running feeder tactic and just a couple of knots in line with a feeder on it and an hook length. I've got some ground bait, maggots, some pellets, just simple stuff, which not so much pellets, but ground baits, biscuit mixers, bread punch, bread crumb. They were like your sort of common baits back then, so we've even got a bit of sweet corn. And we'll see if we can catch some of these fish out of here just with some vintage gear. And, well, look at me, not really dressed for the job. And normally I'm not really into all that dressing up and looking part, as you all probably can tell. But this is fishing, guys, and I need to look the part. So I'm going to go and get in character and I'm going to jump on a peg. In the good old-fashioned style, I've got ready to go just like that. Now I've picked a peg which looks awesome. I'm going to go and get on that. It's literally just here near the car, so it's not far for me to walk either. This stuff don't weigh anything, by the way. And if you're going to go vintage fishing or fish with any sort of old gear, I mean, there's older gear than this, don't get me wrong, but this is the oldest I can get my hands on. Wicker basket, rod's not even got a name on it. It probably did once, but it ain't anymore. But no, vintage session is complete without some bright yellow Pringles. So I'm going to go and get on this peg down here. I'm going to get set up, really simple way I'm going to do it today, nothing complicated. And see if we can catch a few. Loads showing already, it looks absolutely wicked, so hopefully it don't get any warmer than this and it'll be perfect. Right, let's go and get set up. Right guys, so got to my peg, got set up, got your mum's best tea towel from back in the day, ground bait mix. I'm going to be fishing over that bush over there that's sticking out on the island. The lighter leaves on it, I'm going to be fishing right in front of that. This is my ground bait mix, Revolution Baits GG Green, absolutely amazing stuff. I've put loads of maggots in there and loads of Revolution Baits, sea nut, little bees, micro pellets in there as well. So that's my ground bait mix. I've also got a pint of maggots, so just pick these out when I want and I can chuck a few back in my mix whenever I need to. I've also got some lovely big juicy dendras, massive chunk of them. Not going to bother chopping them up. I'll probably cut one in half and put it on hook if I need to. Might cut a couple up and put them in my feeder, but I'm not going to go mad with them. And then just a good old tin of traditional sweet corn. And that's pretty much it. Now, tackle for today. Brass disgorger, because, well, it's 1955 and brass disgorgers are amazing. Feeders, I've got a little cage one on this rod I'll show you in a second, but they're pretty much homemade things. So that's one that's been made out of like an aspirin tub, so to speak, with a bit of line on it so you can cast it out. Got a couple of classics in there, nice big long ones if you want to keep it nice and low to lake bed, but get a lot of bait out there as well. And that's pretty much it. So that's my little terminal tackle box, nice and simple. Got a couple of bombs in there as well, in case I want to change from a feeder to a bomb, just to slope feed down a bit. Landing net, this is my net, and from what I remember that's about right. One of them little folding triangle net things, and just a long bank stick. And back in the day, that were a really long landing net handle, and to us now, that's a very tiny bank stick. That's going to sit down there out at way. And that's pretty much it. Right, rod and reel, you're going to love this. This rod, I have no idea what it is. It ain't got a name on it. It's not an old rod of mine, it's just an old rod I picked up a while back. The reel, it's called a spin fisher. I mean, it could do with just leaving alone now. I think it's had its day, but it still turns absolutely mint. Clutch works fine, back wind works absolutely fine. So all I've done is I've chucked on some fresh 6-pound line, and that's pretty much it on that. Nice long cork handle. It's not a long rod, I'd say it's probably about 11 foot, it's not massive. It's actually an adaptable float rod, so it's actually got, you can probably see that, it's got a screw-in swing tip on, feeder tip on top. So it's like a normal float rod, 3-piece float rod with a screw-in feeder tip. Now down to the business end. You'll probably know how to tie this rig. It's how I used to tie them as a kid. Got a hook length on there. That is 50 centimetres, that hook length. And I've just looped it onto my main line. So I'll start off by talking about this. So my feeder, it's a running feeder rig, but just between 2 knots. So no big heavy float stops or clips or anything like that. It's just one long big loop, tied with a double knot up here, and then trim it off. That means your feeder's inside a long big loop then. Then what you want to do is, I've probably got about 6 inches a loop there. I've tied a double knot there as well, so that stops my feeder from coming down towards milk length. And after that knot, I've then done another double knot there, and that's my loop to loop for my hook length. And that means that whilst my feeder sits there like that, I've got a nice thick piece of line that helps kick my knots away from my feeder. It's not so much about not having a tangle with milk length, it's just about getting all these working parts away from my feeder. And that's just a little tiny cage feeder. I think it's a Drennan one. It's that old, everything's worn off at lead on it. I've had to squeeze it back into shape. It's made a really fine wire mesh. And that's going to be planner attack. So I'm going to bang a few of these out. In fact, I'm not, because I don't think baiting up back in the day were a massive thing. I think it would just chuck it and look it. So I'm going to chuck straight out over there now. I'm going to put just double maggot on and just squeeze some of my mix in there. And it's the second time I've ever fished here, and I've not fished on this peg before. I fished further up when I did. I've got a size, there's a bit of feather on there. I've got a size 14 hook. Got skimmers, quite big skimmers in here. Size 14 hook, it's a barbed, and it's an N20, a Preston hook. Weren't available back in the day, but it's probably like a sort of common size hook back in the day, I don't know. Some of you more mature lads might be able to tell me. And that just runs on there. If I want to change my feeder at any point, I can just cut this off and just put another feeder on tight again. But ideally, you could do a clip on there. But some old traditional rigs I've seen, you didn't really have a clip to change your feeder. All old books I've got from back in the 70s and 80s, they're just like that, just with a running feeder on there. And that's it. No bulky swivels, nothing, just really simple stuff. And it means that it goes bite and it just pulls the line straight through that feeder while it's on bottom, no problem. And that's pretty much it on that. So I've got my rod actually on my bait bucket there, and then down into a very, very old rod rest, a really vintage one. Don't know brand, they're probably unbranded, but a very vintage rod rest. And I've got an old keep net, what I've chucked in there. And that's pretty much it. Nice wicker basket, tweed jacket, and some Pringle socks. So I'm going to have a couple of casts, see how we get on, and hopefully we can have a decent day's fishing, because I haven't dressed like this to come and catch nothing. So Robson, this is on you, mate. Right, so I'm going to get my ground bait bowl next to me here. I'm going to get my tub of maggots on top there like that, and go from here. Now these reels ain't got a clip on. Obviously probably clipping up back in the day weren't probably a major factor they'd thought about, but I'll see how we go. So I'm going to start off with a double white first. Water's not dull, but there's not a lot of colour in it, so I want a nice visible bait. So I'm going to go with a double white, and then me feed it. Oh, get me Revolution Baits GG green ground bait in there like that. That's pretty much it, guys. Feeder, hook length, and now, oh, it clicks and everything, this reel. Nice steady cast out there. There we go. So that's feeder in That's settling now, and hopefully, I did catch a lot of fish from this island the other day, fishing over that side of the island, but from a peg further down. So hopefully, like I thought it were, it might be a nice fish holding spot for them little skimmers. We'll see how long it takes for a first bite or indication or something, and see how we go. But just really simple going, really easy to fish. Because it's only a short rod, I ain't got 1,000 eyes up it. It's really easy to cast. There's an indication, I think that was a liner. A little bit of a liner then. Oh, a little knock then as well. Another little knock then. Don't know if that's a fish feeder, not feeder that. That's a good sign. And you saw where that landed, so it's right in front of that little bush out there. And I've got loads of cover going underneath. Another little knock then, there we go. Praying to God this isn't them first initial fish that you get liners off and then you don't see anything for the rest of the session. I'll tell you what, dress code wise, I am comfy. I am very, very comfy. I've got another Feeder Masters final at Southfield coming up, and I'm very tempted to turn up like this. I really, really am. Also, I'm probably going to go with sort of 5-10 minute casts, probably 10-minute casts. It might even be a lot earlier than that. I've had sort of 3 liners already. Might be a lot earlier than that, but no stopwatch. Just got my normal watch on, so I'm just going to watch on my wrist. Oh, and we're in. We're in just like that. That was probably 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Oh, we were a clicking reel. You probably see that rod tip there. Look, it's just a quiver tip. It just screws in with some brass threads onto the top of the rod. Feels like a bit of a skimmer, that. It is a skimmer. I was going to say it could even be a roach. Now here we go at landing net. This is going to be fun. See, I remember landing at handles being this long when I was a kid, and that was only 3 years ago. Oh, there we go. Absolutely wicked. So a couple of minutes in, skimmer number 1. Where's that gone? So I went to Aston Park this morning. This was the only brass disgorger I could find, so I had to get it. Did Eddie's head in, trying to find a price for it. And there we go, first skimmer. Want GG green today. So I'm going to whack him and keep net. And like I said, I hope that's not just one of them fish that you get a couple of and then they're gone. So I'm going to stick with it, double white. So 1, 2, I have got some really old hooks in a packet from years ago. Someone gave me, probably about 50 year old, but they're really frail. I don't want to use them. They're unbranded. They're sort of ones you'd go in a tackle shop back in sort of 60s, and you just ask for a number of them. Right, so no snags. Oh my God. That was close, just chucked it straight into the tree. Too short. No, no, it's only my second ever visit. I only come up the other day for the first time.
Yeah.
We had £19 of bream.
£19 bream?
No, £19 of bream.
Of bream, sorry.
Now I'd be happy with that.
Could you imagine?
No, I know. There's a knock straight away. A little shiver there, not tip. It's almost like something's picking your hook length up and just giving it a bit of a rattle as it swims off, and then it's pulling out. They're probably normally a small fish, a little roach. Oh, there's a knock. Oh. Just pulled out of that one. So again, straight into my mix. That's my ground bait in my feeder. Double white on. Back out to the spot. Perfect. I'll make sure I keep doing them casts. Oh, got a wobbly bucket. No one wants that. Right. So like I'd normally do, you've probably seen my videos before. Just keep tightening up to my feeder, just as my line's settling as well, because indications as quick as what we've been getting. Don't want a skimmer sort of ripping off with it while I'm messing about dunking my line under water and everything. Oh, that were a liner. I don't know if you would have got that, but that were a big carp that's just jumped out under the tree over there. Let's put this disgorger right there. Yeah, sort of need it to put it there. So far so good though, plenty of bites. And hopefully you'll be able to see just down that rod as well, so you might be able to see some of these bites coming. Really easy stuff. I feel lost without even a side tray. It's weird not even having a side tray on my box. It's weird not even having a box. Just got a basket, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot softer on my back than my boxes. Loads of little tiny indications on the tip, sort of, not all the time, constant, but just little rattles every now and again. That's a bit of an head bang, that one. See if that'll progress into anything. I want to go into that one. Yeah. Little skimmer, I think, that one. Typical head bang, that one. No. Typical head banging skimmer, that one. Little perch. Hey, if I didn't show it you though, it could have been a skimmer. Tin rated tongue. Double white on hook. Really awkward tackle to fish with, but you sort of get used to it quite quick, so it's not a massive issue. But loads of fun fishing like this. I don't like noise reel makes, but I ain't got much of a choice. And this is one of your typical wives or man's tea towels from home, this. So cheers for hand-me-down marina. Might even be worth coming down to a sort of 12-inch hook length, or even an 11 at some point, just to bring the hook bait just a little bit closer to my feeder. I think they're responding to the feeder really confidently, so when feeders going in, they're on it straight away, and they're just not straying far enough away towards my hook bait. Oh, ripper. Nearly pulled rod off at rest. Feels a better fish. What we got? Another little perch, so not a better fish at all, but very welcome. That'll do. Him. Little dumpy perch, that. So again, I'm not going to change out, just going to keep the double white. At some point I might introduce a bit of sweet corn into my mix, but just through feeder, not bury my mix that I've got with sweet corn, because I don't know what sort of response I'm going to get from it. So I'll see how we go. And I've also got worms as well for hook, so if I do get plagued out with small fish, I don't mind sitting out an extra couple of minutes with a worm on. A bit short that time, but I'm going to leave it there, because it's quite a big area that I don't mind feeding up. That's settling nicely already. Don't know if you can see straight down that rod. I'm hoping you can. Because I'm not fishing that far out, my line's sort of sinking and settling pretty much within a couple of sort of 10-20 seconds. Because that tip's so sensitive on a really stiff rod, I get really positive sort of prominent indications on tip without too much rod bending. Little indication then, little tiny liner I think that way. I can't believe how many perch I've got underneath my rod. I bet there's 30 perch underneath my rod. Just here in front of me. There we go, fish on. Not a big one, but fish on. Not scare all these perch off now. Oh God. There we go. That's what we want. So a few changes made and it pays off like that. Double red that time with a few more maggots in it. Now I don't just make one change and just assume that that's it, I've fixed it, like every fishing YouTube video in the world. I've got to see at least another 6-7 of these off that change to know that it's worked. So I'll put it in net and see if we can get some more. So again, double red feeder this time with just a few more maggots in it, so to match the hatch. Better, loads better that cast. Take that slack up. There we go. Get it down at rest. Oh, thought there were fish on sort of instantly then. There is. Fish on instantly. So again, I've got to see another sort of 5 or 6 of these to see that that change is what we need. There we go. Come here, Mr Skimmer. That's what we want. Yes. There you go. Another one for net. So double red. And then back over the spot. And I'm guessing, keep doing this and hopefully should be onto a winner. Let's slack up. There we go. Beautiful. Amazing way of fishing. Absolutely love this. I've sort of overdone it because I've brought a bucket, because a bucket was quite common back in the day. Mix my ground bait up in that and then put it into a ground bait bowl. But I've got a net bag just underneath the camera. It's just got like some crisps in it and what have you. And pretty much it. But I bet I could get half that stuff in my basket as well, so I'm definitely going to do more of this sort of fishing. I'll have to go to a carp venue and try and catch some decent carp on it. Right, so I've made a few changes. I've now put a little bit of corn in my mix and more maggots. So I've just got some big baits going out there, hoping that all these little baits will just be really easy offerings for them. And I've put a few more maggots in as well, just to sort of match the hatch hook bait as well. So that's one change I've made. Second one is I've gone to a bit longer hook length and I've gone down to a size 16 hook. And the plan is just to fish a single white maggot. Same feeder boom, same everything, but 013, made it probably a couple of inches longer and I've gone all the way down to a size 16, same hook, a N20. So I'm going to go to single white, chuck back into the same spot, and hopefully I can get through all these millions of line bites I keep getting just by making a few changes like that. I just think by putting a couple of big baits in like corn, it'll keep the small fish preoccupied, and it means that they might turn to a white maggot as an easy option. And not only that, but it means that I've got the maggots in there as well to match the hatch with the hook bait. So as any bream or skimmers that come in after the sweet corn, they can pick up maggots as an easy loose offering and make off with my hook bait. So I'll try that and see how we go. That sun is absolutely beating down now, which I don't mind as much because I've got a lot of cover out there. But I'm just going to go to a single white, hook it through nose, and then into my mix. Just making sure I get at least some maggots in every time. It's always good to give a mix of steer up because your maggots naturally in your ground bait dig to the bottom. So I'm going to go out with that one. That's probably about perfect for where I want that. Another one, definitely feeding fish there. See, my hook length, it's only so many inches away from my feeder, so I just need fish to start veering off. You've got to remember, when fish are feeding, they naturally waft bait all over anyway. So an 15 inch hook length's not a big hook length at all. Oh, no, not on. Because I was feeding fish, I want to be back over top of them straight away. A little bit to right that, but not too much. Just that waiting period for straying fish just to pick up the loose offerings and get your hook bait. That's a massive fish. Right in corner to me right hand side near the car park, there's a massive fish just come up. I've just seen its head just go back down again. Another one, another one. Not going to progress. No. Just want a good old wrap round, nice big old bream. It's because the rod is so stiff and the tip is so sensitive, it's keeping the tip completely still, and I'm getting every single indication just on that tip and nothing else. Whereas normally you'd get sort of the entire of the tip bending and a bit of your rod on a little bite, on like a distance master for example. That tip on this rod is perfect for reading what's going off out there. Little bang then and back. Oh, a bit of a drop back then. That going to progress? That's on. That's on. Lovely drop back bite then, that one. There we go. Seems a bit better as well, that fish. Like I say, that cast then, when it went out, I just knew it had landed in a really sweet spot. It only makes sense for it to be a better fish. Oh. I don't know what it is. I thought it was a skimmer at first. Come in like one, but it nodding its head like one then. Oh, it is a skimmer. That's what we want. Lovely. Oh, let's get my massive landing net. Here we go. Manoeuvring around there, look. Oh, there we go. Nice little skimmer. Let's get me disc gouger. That's what you want. I want to get back out of there on that same spot, see if we can get a few more of them before we finish. Again, just single white maggot. That was the optimum change I wanted to make. A single red does well, but I think single white should really stand out bait. Plenty out there, but I just know, I'm a bit short that time, I just know they're probably more prone after eating corn like that to just dive on a bed of maggots as well. Oh, that's on. That's on, another better one. Definitely better. Little skimmer again. Skimmer. A big perch. That'll do. That's what you want. And just for the sake of Nathan Watson, I don't think this perch is a him. This is definitely a she, Nath. Look at her. She's a beauty. No, Nath reckons there's a lot of people out there that call fish a him, and I had to think about it. And yeah, I'm definitely one of them people. Every fish I get, it's a him. But just for you, Nath, it's a she. Way too short. Coming back in. Another rubbish cast, but I'm going to leave it because I've just put two in exactly the same spot. So it makes sense to leave it. See if them perch are still here. 3 maggots. Oh. Perch look going mad, look at the size of them. Like that. Getting bigger. Double red. Loads of maggots in that feed at that time. Trying everything now, trying to get one. Oh. Fish on. Instantly, fish on. Another skimmer, I think. Not sure. A skimmer or a big roach? No, that's a skimmer. That's what we want. Maybe a little net. That's it. Quick change like that. Brought him on. That's what we want. A couple more of them and it's game over. Beautiful. Back over that same spot. Oh, a bit short that time, but it's not far off. Fish on. Seems better. Going left. That's better. This is what we want, ladies and gentlemen. Another skimmer. Yeah, a good one. That's what we want. Some of those. Oh, good God. Look at that. Beautiful. Awesome. GG green is unstoppable. Oh, there we go. The GG green in my outfit though, bringing these bream in. Can't see it being much else. I don't even think the hook's got anything to do with it, with how good me and this ground bait look and smell today. Nearly completely out of it. Same as before, that one. On to my rest. I just only wanted to get out to try it, vintage gear, and see what it's like. And yeah, wicked. A decent bag of bream already. A couple of perch. If I had another rod set up where I could just drop a float in front of me, I'd absolutely bag up on perch. It'd be a perch session. But I ain't. Fish on. Oh my God, I've got a massive tangle around my reel. Sorted. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Another skimmer, I'm guessing. Robson, we need to get on vintage game, I think. This is wicked. Right, I have to do this funny stuff with my rod. So I'll bring him up. Can't go a long handle. I have to try and find a vintage landing net handle from somewhere. There we go. Oh, beautiful. And I think that, guys, is definitely the fish to end this vintage session on. Now I understand some of you guys out there have got vintage tackle for days, and I haven't. I just got this. I don't do any on it. I don't even dress like this either, so it's nice to go out in a different outfit. But that, amongst all the fish we've got, really easy traditional method, hook length to a 3-knot feeder rig straight to main line. Not casting fast, so don't need a shot leader. But yeah, catching skimmers like that. I've had a few decent perch as well. And it's been an absolute pleasure fishing for the second time on a venue that I don't really know. So I'm going to get wrapped up and call it a day. But before this video ends, I also need to tell you about the little competition I did about winning those embed feeders. So if you're thinking about tuning out or going to the toilet or going to work, you're going to have to save it, yeah? So I'll tell you what to do to look for answer to who's won those embed feeders after this. So yeah, I'll get tackled up and call it a day. There we go. Absolutely smashed it. So I've got plenty of vintage tackle at home, and I thought instead of coming out all the time using all modern stuff, up-to-date gear, I thought I'd get some old vintage gear, a nice wicker basket, and come up onto a new venue and try and catch some skimmers. And a good old friend of mine, Robson Heaton, last week invited me up here. We had a blinding day, and I thought, you know what, I want to come up here and have a cheeky visit without anyone knowing, with some vintage gear, get dressed up and come and catch some skimmers. And that nice bag of skimmers, not weighed it, probably about 15 pound of skimmers there, but I have had a billion line bites, and for the life of me I couldn't hook into a lot of them fish. Don't know what were going off, but I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. Simple method as well, just using a running ground bait feeder, maggots and pellets, a few bits of corn, and the ever faithful Revolution Baits GG Green, which is undoubtedly the best ground bait going for skimmers and silvers. It's perfect. So get onto Revolution Baits website, put your orders in, get it delivered, and get bagging nets of fish like this. But I hope you've enjoyed it anyway, and keep listening, because in a second I'm going to tell you who's won those embed feeders from 2 videos ago, and I'm going to tell you how to find out if it's you or not. So I'm going to slip these back and I'll be back with you in a second. Right people, so after that session catching all them skimmers on some vintage gear, I'm ready for giving away some modern gear. Now, reference 2-3 videos ago when I tested some map embed feeders, and I wanted to send out you guys these, the distance stems which I use from Preston, and one of each of the embed feeders. Now, they work a treat, the ideal, £3.25 a piece, and these ICS stems, I don't know how much they are, about £3. Perfect for fishing long range feeder fishing, places like Boddington, any commercial, anywhere like that, and they fit each one, so perfect. So next thing is, on your subscriptions, when you subscribe to somebody, make sure you have your settings as public so I can see who you subscribe to, including myself. Because if you subscribe and then you comment, I can only see you've commented if you've not got your settings set to public. So please, next couple of days, set them to public, and on Thursday I'll go through comments, and whoever's commented, I can click on it and it tells me if you subscribed or not. So please check your settings, and what I'll do is I will pick somebody in the comments who subscribed as well, and I'll drop you my email address and you can ping me your address and I'll post them out to you free of charge. I'll even chuck in that horrible little guru thing and, oh, the one I used on day. I'll chuck that in for you as well. So that just means that you get these sent out to you for free. You can try them at your own leisure and you can see for yourself just how easy they fit in all different brands. So thanks for watching this video anyway. It's been a treat. It's not something I do, fishing with vintage gear, but it definitely works. Yeah, I'm definitely going to come and give it another go, that's for sure, because I've missed loads of bites. I've had a million line bites, don't know what's going off, but really entertaining stuff. If you're watching this and you've not already, please remember to like and subscribe. This is pretty much all I've got going at the minute. And any suggestions on videos or what I can do next, or if any of you've just got some mad ideas that you're not in reach to try yourself, let me know. As long as it's like nothing too far abroad and doing anything too daft. I mean, fishing on beach with match gear, I'm up for anything, let me know. But thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.